This is Greg Carson, former player of the Nite Hawks and alumni from 1993 to 1997, also proud member of the first Cyclone Untitled Championship team in Beaver Valley. You're listening to Hawk Talk with host and alumni Ross Simnor, Jake Morissette, and Connor Jones. Enjoy the show, folks.
Welcome back, everybody. Hawk Talk here. We got episode 17 coming at you. We are spattered all over today. I can't stay, but the boys are going to take over. I really want to jump in early, say hi to, I'll introduce our guests in a sec, but Big Talk Jake over there. How you doing, pal?
Yeah, doing good, Timmy. Doing good. Excited for another pod. Got a couple of good guests today. Should be a lot of fun.
I got to listen this morning to the one with our boy Bonner. And yeah, I boy, that kid's funny, but I forgot about half of the stuff we talked about there, making fun of him for that. I didn't realize he was a really good hockey player until after I was way gone from BB. So, Bonner, if you're out there, buddy, you got some skill. Connor, how's it going, pal?
I'm doing good, real good. We got three-week-old in the old house, so the sleep's a little bit less than it used to be. But we're happy to be here, and those circles under my eyes are here to stay.
So, what feels better, like hoisting the cup last year or Kid 2?
Take it.
It's okay. It's all right. It's like Taylor Ring's better than that, anyways.
Hey, Kid 2, I had a pretty big part of that. The cup, I was just kind of there. So Kid 2, kind of important for it. So.
Yeah, you kind of had a part. So I was going to introduce these guys here. Really happy to have, obviously, people that we've heard stories about, kind of these folklore tales. We got, and I'm just going to bring one thing up for each guy because I got to read through a couple of amazing notes there. And I can't wait to listen to this when it's done. Scott Makway, the fourth Hanson brother. How you doing, pal?
I guess I'll take the name. I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Oh, we're fantastic. But hopefully we dive deep into one of those stories as we go. We got Brad Campeau in lieu of smelling salts to get guys fired up. Big dumps and ass wipes running around the room to get the mojo going before you ran on the ice for games. How you doing, Brad?
Good. How are you guys?
Do you still got that trick in your bag?
No, I used that one up a couple times back in the day.
Okay, I'm gonna let the boys take it over from here. It was great seeing you guys on here. I can't wait till let's do it. Stay
Thanks,
fellas.
Timmy.
Cheers.
Yeah, thanks, Tim.
God, what energy! Gosh, if only he brought that energy all the time.
You're only doing short bursts, though, eh?
I know.
25 seconds.
Short bursts. Yeah.
Tired out. He's out of here.
But hey, appreciate you guys coming on today. I'd love to just kind of hear first of both of you how, growing up and getting to the Hawks and kind of how that, because you guys are original Hawks, right?
Yep.
They're both original. Yep.
So how did that all come about? Me and Jake were lucky to kind of grow up watching the team play and want to be part of it in that way. You guys were the trailblazers.
Go ahead, Scotty.
Well, I grew up in the Okanagan Valley in Assayas long before Assayas had a team, and I went to the Rossland camp when I was 15 years old, and the deal was that if I made it through training camp and made the team, I was going to be able to stay. And I made the team, and then my parents said, "Well, you can't stay." So I had to come back home to Assayas, and they bought me a new pair of skates as a trade-off. They thought I was too young and too small. A couple of years later, the Hawks had their first team, and Tommy called me, and I made the trip out there with my younger brother, who's about 3 inches, maybe 4 inches taller than I am. And Tommy, for the first half an hour, thought that we were reversed, that I was the younger brother and that Arnold was the older brother. And that's how it all started for me.
I don't know. Brad, what about you?
Well, I was working as a baggage handler at the Calgary International Airport for summer job.
Yeah.
And I didn't really have a place to play. I was playing junior A with the Calgary Chinooks. That was a farm team of the Calgary Wranglers, which are now the Hitmen.
Okay.
So I was bouncing around up and down from major junior to tier 2. And I got a call late at night from my uncle Leo. He was the trainer of the team back in summer of 81. And he said, "You still got your pads?" I said, "Yeah, they're in the closet, knock some dust off." He says, "Well, we've got an expansion team." I said, "I heard there's a junior B team starting out there." So my big goal was to basically come to Fruitvale and make the team and hopefully stay on for the next year and play for the Smoke Eaters, but to the seniors. But they folded, and it wrecked all my plans. I had to go back to school, so I ended up going to my Royal. So I ended up sticking around and playing in Beaver Valley, and yeah, it was great. It was great. You know, it was we cut our teeth in that to that time. We didn't have a deep team, but we sure grew as a group over the 6 months we were together, and yeah, it was great.
Oh, that's super good. What was it like that first year, like, especially like at the start, being a new team, small town? What was the support like in the community? What was that experience like?
It was great. It was exciting. It was like going into a minor hockey league team. But the Valley, I don't know, was there 4,000 or 5,000 people up there? And
yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's a sports-minded team. It's just like a small version of Trail. With baseball was big, right? Hockey's always been big with the 60 Smokies, and no, it turned into a huge rivalry. With Roslyn was in the league at that time too, and,
right? Yeah,
Castlegar, Trail hated Castlegar. That was just a big smoke show there, and then we ended up having a rivalry with them too. No, it was good. I thought it was really, really good. It got better. It steamrolled.
Yeah,
I would say. What do you say, Scotty?
Well, I'm trying to remember back to those days. I think we never won an exhibition game. We won our first game of the season, and I think we lost 8 in a row. So I remember Tommy coming into the locker room and the rest of the coaching staff saying, if you guys want anybody in the stands anymore, you're gonna have to end this 8-game losing streak. And I think we figured it out around Christmas time and actually clawed our way into a playoff spot on that first season. So that was kind of exciting.
So with that first season, was that when you guys played Trail in the playoffs? And so Campy, that would have been your like 20-year-old season, because just the 1 year, and then Scott, you were 17.
Yep.
Okay. What was that playoff run like? I know from the people I've said, like, it was kind of pretty wild, and Campy, you had like a pretty good run in net.
Oh, I had a great run. I thought it was really good. We went into Trail. We played 1-1. We were so close. So can't remember if it was a Thursday night or a Friday night. We go into Trail, the place is packed, and they hated us. I mean, it was great. It was a great rivalry on the ice and the fans. It was a zoo. And we went in there. We were the underdogs. Obviously, we finished 24, 25 points behind Trail, 1 versus 4. And they didn't really give us much of a chance. But people don't realize we played Trail 6 times in the regular season, and we beat Trail twice.
Yeah.
We beat them 4-3 and 6-4. And then they hammered us. On the other 4 games that they won, they beat us by double digits every time, 11, whatever, and da-da-da. But it was a great rivalry. But we went in there that first game, and we held our own. Scotty and Mark Verrigan played unbelievable. They saved our butts. And we pulled off an empty netter, 6-4 win in that first game, and gave us the first game. And then 2 nights later, we're into Fruitvale. That's a story in itself. I remember it vividly because my Uncle Lale was the trainer of our team, and he was the fire chief paramedic in the Valley. And they're bringing portable stands from the Ball Diamonds from all over, and they're bringing them, dismantling them in the parking lot and bringing them in. And boy, you guys,
that's so cool.
I worked at the rink at the time for Kenny Rudd, so I was in there helping set up and get everything together. I'm going, oh, you guys are bringing stands in here? There's going to be no standing room. Guys, it was 3 deep all the way around to the benches.
Oh, that is so cool.
Over 750 people in there, from what I hear. And it was a zoo. And we pulled that one off with another empty netter, 5-3. I mean, we got outshot badly, but we hung in there against them with Leonardon, Sniper, and then old Jonesy, 15-year-old Jonesy. He was their best
dad was
player.
on that team?
Oh, yeah. He should have played for us. And he knows that, too. And I give it to him all the time, because the 5 of them held out that were all Valley boys, because they didn't want to play for an expansion team, but they wanted to hang with Trail because they're going to win.
Well, that's why I went to Vernon. He was like, you know what? I got to change this. I can't get my son to play the Smoke Eaters, and you got to go to Vernon. So
I think he took some flack, but you know what? I don't know if he has any regrets or not. I mean, he had a good career and what he did and stuff. He was a great little player, man.
I know. That's super cool. That's cool hearing about like the stands coming in, because I know, like, Connor, we were growing up in the playoffs, that was always a tradition. Like in the playoffs, they bring in an extra stand and pack that little bar, and that was cool. So Brad, you talk about the rival.
Brad, you remember what happened in the 4th game? I think we were at home.
Yeah, didn't you get in a fight with Manatee? Or was that the regular season?
No, that's it. So we were behind, and so the coaching staff is, if somebody's not going to do something, we're
Yeah.
going to run the fourth line for the rest of the game. So I ran Dougie Miller from behind, and he was in a
Right.
fight before he knew he was in a fight.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Sheldon chased Leonardin all around the ice for a half an hour and could never catch him. So then when they were, I think there was less than 10 minutes to go in the third. So as they were taking me back towards our bench, Manu came to center, and I'm like, okay, I'll go with him. That was a big mistake. I think
He's tough.
Yeah,
He
I think I had to have both contacts taken out by Zipper.
Yeah. Well, he was tough. You throw him, and the boys told me about it after when I talked to the guys later downtown trail.
Now, is back then, like, how many fights did you have in a year, Scotty? Like, is that something you look to do, or just
No, so my claim to fame. So I don't know if you guys remember at the golf tournament that one of the contests was who had the most penalty minutes, me, Steven, or Judah.
Yeah.
And Steven was standing up on the top of the table with 3 beers in his hands, telling everybody how tough he was. And he found out that I had more penalty minutes than him.
Yep.
But I never got a 2. I never got a 5. Everything was, 5 for fighting and 5 for slashing, because I was going to defend myself at all costs. So.
Oh, that's cool. That's funny. That's kind of what I was going to ask about, like what the league was like then, because obviously there's a lot of like teams close together and rivalries, and the game was a little different then. Like how tough of a league was it back then?
So there was a bench clearing brawl, I would say, every third. So when you watch Slapshot, that was from that same era. That's almost exactly what it was like. And we were the Bad News Bears. We were the expansion team with, one line that was going to skate with everybody else, 2 lines that were going to, do their best to hold their own, and the 4th line was just going to create mayhem out there. And it was a fairly regular occurrence. We had some tough guys, right?
Yeah.
So Jeff Keeler was about as tough
Oh,
as
yeah.
they come.
Never
I
seen
watched
one.
Jeff in Grand Forks. I think he punched out 2 or 3 guys on the ice and then took the coach on in the tunnel to the locker room.
Come on.
No kidding.
Hey, he laid out Leonard right in our zone. And it was in the regular season, it wasn't in the playoffs, and I wasn't playing this game. Chevy was playing, Rick Chevelday, he was playing, and Keeler hit Leonardin so hard, Leonardin was crawling on his hands and knees, and he tried to get in our bench. He was banging on our gate. He's on the ice on all 4s, and I opened the gate up, and I said, not going to happen on my shit. Crawled all the way to his bench. Seriously.
So were there road trips back then? Like, did you guys, like, I guess it was Grand Forks, Cascar, Nelson, Roslyn, right? So it probably wasn't any, like, you guys.
Columbia Valley, Kimberly, Cranbrook.
Would
So you guys have never
them?
heard the famous story coming back from the Eastern trip?
No, well, I talked with Rugger, and he said there's usually the bus trips were few, but there was always some sodas, and usually the bus broke down almost 85% of the time. So he said you had to ask about it.
Yeah, so that happened on a regular basis, but probably the most famous one, and I can't remember if it was Cranbrook or Invermere. We were up by a lot going into the third, and I want to say up by 7 or 8 goals, and then it was one fight after another, and we were left with about 3 of us on the bench, enough to do a change, and we end up losing the game. None of the coaches, Brad, was that your year or was that the year after?
The year after.
So none of the coaches came into the locker room after. No, nothing on the bus, like not even a bag of chips. We drove through the night, and the bus pulled up about 5 miles before the arena at home, and all the bags got pulled out onto the side of the road, and we threw our gear on and jogged behind the bus back to the arena and then skated.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's hilarious.
Jake, you ever have to do anything like that?
No, you know what? I don't remember anything. I remember my brother when he played before me. I think they had a late night practice once after they got home from a game. But yeah,
I remember frozen equipment. I think I rode the bus that day, and my dad's like, I'm bagging the guys, so he put their frozen gear on and made them skate when they got home. I was like, oh Jesus, you can't do that.
Hey
anymore.
guys, this story, you got to have this story you guys have heard about. This is the honest to God truth of it. Okay. So we're up 2-0 against Trail because we're going to get past it and not come back to it. So we'll get it right now. We're up 2-0 and we go back to Trail to play game 3. It's a Saturday. Murray Price, assistant coach, Tom Garlitz, our head coach, no show. They're playing rec hockey in Cranbrook. The path is closed. There's a blizzard. They can't get through. They're stuck at the ferry. So our GM, fearless GM's got to coach our team. So I guess, and I never heard the story just till last year, but I get yanked. I don't play. So they put Shovel Dave in net in Trail. We're up 2-0 on Trail. And Trail waxes us. Hey, Scotty, was 9-1 or 8-1 or something.
Yep.
And they get back in the series and never look back. They swept us 4 straight after that, which was unfortunate. I don't want to blow my own horn, but you don't do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know what, I didn't know why. And I didn't even bother. I was mad. And I was just mad for the guys because we have a good role. We could have, we might not have beat Trail. You never know, right?
Yeah.
And,
well, I can't believe the going out for the rec league game on a game. Like, imagine you still got to coach the team. It's like
crazy, eh?
like, oh, I got a game at 4, but I got to be coaching at 8. It's like, well, something didn't work out.
Then they didn't even make it for the game at all.
No.
Oh, no way.
No. Daryl Dixon coached our team. But I guess the truth of the story is I asked Sheldon Collins before the golf tournament last year. I was talking to him on the phone. And he said that he was told that Rick Shoveldave said to Daryl Dixon, if I'm not starting, I'm walking. So Daryl caved to him and put him in the nets. And Rick wasn't a bad goalie. He just never got to play. I played basically, hey, Scotty, about 85% of the games.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it was too
that's
bad.
crazy. That's great. I remember we had a similar situation one of my years in the playoff run where our backup goalie, him and his dad said if he didn't play, he was leaving, and it was kind of like, see you later.
Yeah, it's too bad. Oh well, what are you gonna do?
So hey, after Scotty, after that first year, what was the transition like for because it was 3 more years, right, for you as a Nite Hawk? 18, 19, 20, or just
2 more years, I think. I don't think I was there for 4. I think I was there for 2 more. So the next year was a couple of more guys from where I grew up came out and played. So we had Dale Holtz come and Mike Barzell. So if nobody has followed Mike's kid, he's the big stud in the Islanders, right?
So, oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No way.
And I saw the name when I was looking at the picture of the team. I didn't realize that though.
That's Mikey's son. So we had a really good team that next year, from what I remember, and should have probably won it all. And I can't remember who we lost to in the playoffs. It was probably Trail again in the second round. And then we changed coaches the next year. Roy Kasler came in, and Roy was a little old school and a little different coach than Tom was, and we kind of lost our mojo that year. But you know what? It was a great 3-year run.
Amazing. God, I just got it. Hang on, I just heard my kid cry. Jake, go ahead here for 1 sec.
Yeah, I'm not sure where we're going after that, Colin. Yeah, I guess what about on that team? We can talk about some players. Who are some of the characters on that first team? Like guys like really funny guys or like interesting guys or guys who had any like weird quirks within the dressing room and stuff like that.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Scotty.
So Marty Swanson was another tough guy, right? Local kid, and wasn't very tall, but Marty was a kickboxer, so we would all go to his place for boxing lessons, right? So that we could kind of, have one up a little bit on the other guys. Marty was a little bit of a character. Halfway through the year, Norm Kasler came in, and Norm ended up being a big DJ in Vancouver, but he used to blow the harp on the bus on the way home. So
awesome.
yeah, do a little singing along the way.
The Rugger said, when did you guys start to get to the locker room? He said a lot of guys would keep their gear in their car and just go back and forth and never air it out. It would just be like, okay, getting dressed, back in the car, okay, back on the ice. When did the locker room come?
The first year they put 4 of us in a 2-bedroom condo. I felt sorry for our neighbors, and we used to drag that gear into an apartment building. We dragged that gear into the apartment building, and it would just completely, like, you could smell it coming down the floor. It was coming down the hallway. Gene Lafreniere was one of the guys in our little 2-bedroom, and he didn't like sharing a room with, I think it was Sheldon, so ended up putting his bed in the closet, in the hall closet. It was supposed to be where the laundry room was.
Yeah, exactly.
No way.
That's unreal. Anything else you guys want to add about those years before we kind of get on to what you guys are up to now?
Well, we had played trail in a regular season game, and my cousin Brad Campeau was still in high school at the time, and decided to have his parents were going to Spokane for the weekend, and decided to have a little bit of a party. With Leo's 13
I've been
acres
there.
resident,
Jake's been there.
Bluebird Corner, right? Okay. So anyhow, I get blamed for it. Ends up 250 people in Leo's compound. There's people everywhere. The cops got to come, and I'm the old guy, so I've got to try to kick everybody out. Good luck. And they're just they're trashing his place, and it just turns into a gong show. But Leo finds out, somebody calls Leo in his trip down Spokane. Well, they're back there at 7 o'clock, 8 in the morning. We're trying to clean the house up. But cops that's a road like Bluebird Corner, and you go up the road. My grandma Campbell lived right on the corner down on the highway, and Leo lived across the street, 13 acres on the mountain there. That was quite the shaker. All trail was there. And we just played. So I got there late because I was doing an interview with CJAT, and I couldn't even get up the driveway. I had to park in my grandma's driveway and walk up the hill. And I got a lot of shit. I still get blamed for that. He said, you're the oldest. It was your party, not my son. I said, well, your son knows all these guys. Went to high school with them.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that's still in our Lord. We go to our family
Infamous.
reunion. We had a family reunion in Fruitvale 2 years ago, and it got brought up there. And
Still taking some heat for that one, eh?
Oh yeah, I got broad shoulders, so I can take it.
Brad, you're talking about Spokane. Do you remember when we used to have a pretty good crowd that would travel down there when we played down there, and they had to yellow tape off a section for our home fans because there'd be fights on the ice, there'd be fights up in the stands.
Yeah,
I can imagine, eh?
Yeah. Jake, were you on the team when they had like the legit brawl with like the police and everything? Like
no, I think that was
Trevor
I
Johnson.
think it was Mike. Who was that?
That was
my
cousin Trevor Johnson.
Yes.
On that team. John was on that team. He told me all about it.
Yeah. I remember just going anytime in Spokane. It was like we weren't sure if you were going to come home or not. Like,
well, they went right into the dressing
was it that
room.
same barn too? The Eagles.
Yes. Eagles. Yeah.
With the locker rooms up in the stairs.
Yeah.
Exactly where it was. That's where it was. Yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Place. What a disgusting place.
We had a game in Grand Forks one time, and the fans ripped off the windshield wipers off the bus, like ripped them right off. So it was a snowstorm, slushy snowstorm. We had no wipers coming back over the pass.
What?
Oh.
Gotti, you know what? That was the game where our bus broke down on the way to the game, and we were 2 hours late because of the snowstorm. And they were pissed because the fans had to wait around in that little barn there in G Forks.
Oh yeah,
that was when they went off and I think we stomped them that game or whatever, and had to drive home in a snowstorm.
Was the glass like super low back then too? Like where literally fans could reach over and grab you? I remember Jake saying,
yeah.
If you got too high, you might just end up in the bleachers.
Yeah.
And I'll give you one other little story that, because as you guys are talking, all these memories are coming back. We're playing in trail, and Growler's trying to get the ref's attention. He won't talk to him, so he fires a water bottle across the ice. So they come over and they're having their exchange, and so he gives Tommy a bench minor. So he grabs every one of the sticks on the bench and he throws them out onto the ice, right? And they're scattered all over. So now he throws them out of the game. So we're lining up for a face-off about 2 shifts later. Whistle goes. And now the garbage cans are coming off the top layer of the Kimiko Arena, scattering across the ice.
Those are pretty good
Sometimes, yeah.
tosses to get them over there.
Oh, they were.
There was no netting back then.
Oh, that's unreal. So, what are you guys up to now? Where do you guys live?
Well, I'm
Go
in
ahead, Brad.
Kelowna. I've been in Kelowna since 1992. I moved here from Calgary to open my own business back in 92, and I've been here ever since. I love it. But just retired from, I put a skate together here 32 years ago, and I just retired 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's all ex-NHLers.
Unreal.
From Jordan Tutu, I could just drop names. Seabrook, all the boys. Redden.
Are you
all those
playing?
guys.
Were you playing net?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's been
Well,
great.
usually
And I
some
just-
goalies want to go play out. I feel like after playing goal
Yeah,
for so long,
I-
now
I
it's like,
got-
oh, I want to get some dangles instead of getting hit by the puck.
Well, I'm okay out, but I played rec out a little bit
Yeah.
forward, just go stand in front of the net and let all the pros dump them to me for open netters. But I started playing here. Bobby Moon, there's a name from Fruitvale. He's a good buddy of mine here.
Yeah.
He was
Nice.
part of the skate, and so he invited me out, and I never looked back. And I ended up taking it over from a guy from Cranbrook. And yeah, we call it the TNHL, Thursday Night Hockey League. We got NHL crest with TNHL.
Oh,
And
nice.
you get a home and
That's
you get a
awesome.
white and a black jersey. And yeah, it's still going now. There's 35 guys. We usually get about 24 a night. And
Fun.
yeah, so been doing that, running a sign company here, and I'm getting ready to retire soon.
Congrats.
Just, yeah, it's been good. Real estate's been good here, flipping houses and making nothing but cash. So life's
Awesome.
good in the Okanagan.
Nice.
Scotty?
Good to hear.
And I'm living in Florida, in Southwest Florida. So the Nite Hawks got me a job working for a retail chain called Woco, which doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
They moved me to Vancouver, and then a number of years later, when that turned into Walmart, I started working for a US company. They moved me from Vancouver to Toronto to Chicago. And then we started our own business 8 years ago, and now live full time in Southwest Florida. And I'm looking out my window right now, and it's 92 and sunny, and I'm listening to the weather in Chicago, and it's 52 and pouring rain. So I think we're happy with our move.
No kidding. Although Chicago's pretty nice, though. I mean, all pretty good cities to live in, right? I mean,
Yeah. So my interesting story with Chicago is when they were trying to get us to move to Chicago, I kept saying no, 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 no. And as a kid, I was a Hawks fan, right? Because Cucks didn't have a team. And then when Brian Burke became the GM of the Canucks, I said I would never cheer for the Canucks again, ever. And I went back to my first team, which was the Hawks. So when I finally said yes to moving to Chicago, season tickets were part of the comp package. So I got to see 3 Stanley Cups, and so that was a lot of fun.
what a time to be a Blackhawks fan.
Yep.
Oh my God, those teams were incredible.
Yep. And then now I guess I'll have to be a Rays fan because that's the closest to me now.
Well, that's great. Do you guys think will you be able to get back home again for the golf tournament, you think?
I came last year because Brad told me he was going, and then he didn't show up. So
Well, there's a reason why, because I got evacuated from my house.
Yeah. The Kelowna guys
I drove through that fire. It wasn't like you were going to put a hose on it to try to put the fire out.
No, you certainly weren't.
Good excuse.
Yeah.
Well, we hope to get you guys there again. I know I had a great time, and Jakey will hopefully get you back out there, get swinging the sticks, hey?
Yeah, I'd love to get back one year. I'll see about this year. I don't know, but yeah, definitely we'll get back for one of these. Sounds like it was a lot of fun. Had a lot of messages from buddies who were there. So yeah, it looked like a good time.
For sure. But yeah, guys, thanks again for doing this. Really appreciate you taking the time. This is probably one of our better episodes, I think.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know.
there might be a reason why we're missing somebody.
Yeah, Simi to go all over the place. We haven't made near enough fun of him behind his back, so we'll have to
Take a few shots at him before we sign off, maybe.
But yeah, we'll appreciate it, guys, and we'll chat soon. Okay.
Great.
Thanks
Thanks
for
a lot
having
for having us.
Thanks a lot, guys. That was lots of fun.
Thanks.
Go Hawks.
Yeah,
See ya.
you bet.
Hi, listeners. This is former Nite Hawks player and captain Morgan Peace from the 2017 to 2020 seasons. I hope you're enjoying the show. Make sure to follow us on social media at BB Nite Hawks Alums and to visit our website at bbnitehawksalum.com. unitedhawks.ca.